Good morning, everybody. It's Holly from Besotted Orchids. I want to come to you today and show you a few orchids that I have in bloom. Look at this stunner. Absolutely stunning. Do you see the hairs? Oh my goodness. It is just something to look at. It's majestic. It's just so pretty. You have stripes, you have speckles, you have hair. I mean, this orchid has everything but a scent. Very pretty orchid. Down here is another paphiopedilum. Now look at that. When I first purchased this from Groovy Plants Ranch, I didn't produce this spike. I bought it with the spike on. But it was going to be a wine color, and I thought, well, that's a little boring. I'm not sure if I'm going to want a solid color orchid. Because look at that. And look at this. But somehow the waxiness of it just catches the light and makes it so elegant. It's just a pretty, okay, I'm not gonna say elegant, maybe garish. It's a tad garish, there's a word. It kind of screams at you that it's here. Very pretty. And I'm not sure if it's scented or not. Last night I told my husband I thought it had a bit of a berry scent. Not positive. Could be my imagination because it's purple or wine colored. Now back here, we have what I believe is pink profusion, a twinkle. And I cannot wait for this orchid to grow to specimen size and have multiple spikes at one time. Like my twinkle marguerite, can you imagine these pink clusters of flowers on a very large plant? I think my marguerite maybe had 7 bloom spikes last year. And I want to say around Thanksgiving it bloomed. So I'm hoping that this one, I'm hoping it grows equally as well here. Now down here, look at this. We have kind of a theme going on. That's why I took these out of my collection to show them together. I have a few more I'm going to be showing you, but these just all color coordinated so nicely. And you can see I use them around my home as decoration. My green gecko, my iron clarkara, it lives on the kitchen island. It gets a west-facing window, which is kind of strong for this orchid, but it's sitting about 4 feet away from the window, so I think it's fine. Look at this. Now, this is in the zygo family. This does like to be moist. It does not like a lot of sun. I would never put this right up against an east-facing window. I just would not do it. I mean, excuse me, west-facing. East-facing, you probably could get away with it, but it still might be a little light, too much light for it. What I do with mine is they are on the lowest shelf of my east-facing window, so they get the least amount of light of anybody on the shelving. Also, some of them grow on my north-facing window, which I really like, and they are very large, and they bloom quite often for me. So I'm thinking if you have a zygopedilum type, you don't have to worry about having a strong light for them. You could really grow them under just a basic grow light. Lots of orchids can grow under grow lights. So if you think you don't have the correct window for it, just, you know what, go out and purchase. I know I've gotten some from Amazon with the 2 arms that swing out, and they really were only, I think I got them on sale for like $15. But look at that. That makes a stunning collection. In fact, today I might set them up on my island in the kitchen just as a nice little tiny mini orchid show. Very pretty. So there they are. Just kind of a color coordinated grouping this morning. Now over here, I do have 2 more I'm going to introduce in. Let me move the green gecko out of the way. You have seen these before. And they are much more colorful. But they are in bloom and they do look beautiful, so I'm going to show them today. Now, if this one would stop shaking about. Look at that. That's in the brassia family. And I do believe I had a video a while back, maybe last week, where I said I did not detect a scent. Well, it has a scent now. I was sitting here reading last night in the chair next to it, and I'm like, what is that lovely scent? It's this. It really has a very lovely scent, but with an undertone of pepper. And you're going to find a lot of the brassias have an undertone of pepper. It's not overwhelming, But you're not going to have strictly a floral. You're going to almost always have that little tang of pepper in there. Now, if we're talking about scents, I do want to come in here to show you this one again. Pink Profusion, Twinkle. Therefore, it does have the vanilla scent. That is a very, very nice addition to this orchid. So we have two here with no scents. And this one here does have a lovely floral scent with a little bit of a peppery. Now, let me see. I'm going to try to move this out of the way. Because I do have one more large one that you have seen several times, but we're going to show her off while she's still... And I just put my face in that yellow one. Oh, my goodness. It's very strong. Very strong. I do have asthma, and I normally don't have problems with it lately. But I'll tell you, I put my nose into a very strongly scented orchid, and it can trigger some little bit of closing off. But look at this. This is my no ID that came down from Groovy Plants. Look at that. It just literally glows. It is such a pretty orchid. You know, I'm going to say sometimes, well, I love all the families of orchids. I don't own every one, but the dendrobiums, I mean, look at this. You can't beat this. I'm probably not a huge fan of the nobly type where you have to have the dry rest. I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of those. Although I do have some that are starting to spike in there. I see some little buds coming on. So I'm going to keep them. I'm not going to get rid of them just because I'm not the biggest fan of them. But yes, I did want to come to you this morning. I did want to share some beautiful blooms with you. Let me step back and see if you can see them all. Look at that. Very, very pretty orchids. So thank you so much for joining me today. I think next week I'm going to put some videos up showcasing different species of orchids, the families. So I will do a dendrobium. I will do a, and the dendrobiums will include Latoria, soft cane, hard cane. I'm trying to think what all I have in there. Then I also will probably pull out another day and show you the coconut orchids, the Maxillaria tenuifolia, and also we will do a brassia because, oh, let me show, I just want to show you this. I will show you this before I end the video. If you want to talk about, I know I've done space-saving orchids before, but, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to set this down. But if you want to have a space-saving orchid, this is an oncidium type orchid. So is this giant. So if you want an oncidium, because they are very easy to care for, they really are. They're very, very easy to care for. You can go to the twinkles, which are very, very tiny, or you can go on up to the brassias. That is a huge size difference. I'm telling you. In every orchid species, you are going to be able to find a smaller version and a bigger version. So you can find room to squeeze one in under a shelf, add another one, but you're going to have to just keep in mind your growing conditions, your growing space, so that you're not overwhelmed by where am I going to put this orchid. I mean, you could have several of these in the same amount of space that this one's going to take. And I'm somewhat losing room, running out of room for my tall oncidium type orchids. So my husband thinks underneath the bottom shelf in my shelving area in the grow space that we need to run a light. And then my oncidiums can sit underneath there, underneath the light, because it's a very tall area for them. So we may be doing that with them. But there's all kind of ways you can just think outside the box. You can find something to probably help in your orchid collecting. And it's not always exactly what I have or the next orchid grower has. Just find something that really suits your lifestyle and your space. I mean, everybody has space requirements and limitations. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a great day. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the alert button so you don't miss any new videos coming up. And above all, enjoy those orchids.